welcome back to another episode of the SPL Show, a show that looks at anything and everything in the Singapore Premier League. And last week we had Tanjong Pagar United, and this week we have the other new boy in the Lion City Sailors, Aurelio Vidmar, the head coach of the Sailors, with us today. Hassan Sunny, Singapore International, and the goalkeeper for the Sailors on set as well. Great to have you guys here. Aurelio, last weekend was supposed to be the debut of the Lion City Sailors. A bit disappointed you didn't get the chance to go up against Brunei DPMM, or was it a good opportunity to work on the team for an extra 7 days?
Oh well, we obviously would have loved to play the first game. I think it's been 8 weeks now of pre-season, and you can talk to any player in the world and they always hate pre-season. They always just want to play games and get the season going. So it would have been ideal. It wasn't. So we organised another friendly game for that weekend, and we should be ready to go this Friday.
Hassan, it was supposed to be a game against the champions, but now perhaps an easier start against Tanjong Pagar?
No, we don't really look at that. Like I said, we prepare any other game like any other game. So, and we were eager to start last week. The boys were excited to start the season, but then again, we have to, be prepared for like this kind of situation. So the boys were ready to go this Friday.
We'll have a whole segment dedicated to the Lion City Sailors a little on the show. But before we proceed any further, a shout out to 42 for furnishing the set. These couches are brand new, so for all your furniture, home decor and lifestyle needs, go to 42.sg. That is fortytwo.sg. Alright, on to the past weekend of the SPL, and the results were as follows. Albirex Niigata starting Saturday and the ball rolling with a 4-0 win over Geylang International, a convincing victory for them. We saw the first hat-trick of the season on Sunday at Jurong West, with Stipe Plazibat walking away as man of the match and the match ball in Hougang United's 4-1 win over the Young Lions. And at the other end of Singapore, at our Tampines hub, Tampines Rovers scraped to a 1-0 win over Balestier Khalsa. Shazwan Buhari coming up big with a penalty save for the Stags. Now, I saw Aurelio Vidmar at the Jurong East Stadium for Albirex Niigata versus Geylang International, and I'll get his thoughts on that match. But first up, if you missed the goals, here are the highlights.
Pre-season has been a disaster for Geylang, while Albirex, with their new concept of mixing the best young Singaporean talent with the best young Japanese talent they can muster, has seen them enjoy some success in their warm-up games to this campaign. Extensively talked about Geylang's injury and selection problems, so we can kind of, to some extent, give them a pass, but Albirex have been disappointed to this point, up until that effort from Tomoyuki Doi, and the rebound comes in, and the goal is scored by Ryo Nishiguchi. Well, they've dominated possession, but Zainal's barely had a shot to save until that fine effort from Tomoyuki Doi. Zainal did well to get something to it. There's a dangerous cross. I think that might have been a push in fairness, but the referee's not giving it. Well, the assistant over on the far side has. That was a push, wasn't it, from Panagiotis Leonardos. Many thanks to Duncan Elias. He's confirmed that it was Harith Kanadi who has also made way. Red card! Well, Fareed has given a red card, and if you thought it could get ugly before, goodness gracious me, business is going to pick up for the Japanese now. Well, on the deck is the man that's just come on. Oh, that was a headbutt. Never mind dissent, the referee, and look at how stupid can you be. It was a headbutt, wasn't it? They got in a tangle. Now look at this. There was a bit of chat between them. You just can't do that. Birdhouse. They cough it straight back up, and that was one of their problems at the start of the first half, wasn't it? Just not being able to play the ball out of their own penalty area effectively. The cross comes in, they're lining up, and it's 2! Ryosuke Nagasawa! And Albirex Niigata, hold on to your hats watching at home. This could now come down to a numbers game. It's got work to do because they're in again. That's at the line, full touch. Goes across, goal! And they want handball, and they'll get handball. It's a penalty. Oh, it's another red card. Geylang in disarray. The latest man to join Fareed in the sheds. Oh, it just slipped in. The White Swans lead 3-0. close to Rio Sakuma, who he's just had the coming together with. Oh, Albrecht, there's no offside flag here. Kamata in acres of space. He's got Doi in the middle! And still Doi, second bite of the cherry out to the area, and it's 4. Ryoa Taniguchi makes it 4 with 14 minutes to play, and Geylang are in disarray.
So always difficult against 9-men, but Albirex Niigata looked really, really good in the opening game of the season. And Aurelio, it's tough against 9-men. Was it over as a contest once that third penalty went in?
Oh, definitely after the second send-off. But I thought always Albirex were in control, even if the two send-offs didn't happen. Albirex started off the game very well, always in control. Yeah, obviously after the second red card, and then it was game over.
Do you commend Geylang International for still trying to play out from the back even down to 9-men?
Well, again, just my personal view. I think when they had 11 men, they didn't do it as much as they did when they went with 9 men, so which was a little bit strange. But you know what? Every club has their own philosophy and their own way of playing, so you know, you have to give them credit for trying that. But with 2 less men, makes it a little bit more complicated.
Hassan Faris, of course, international teammate. How do you excuse a headbutt like that?
To be honest, I was surprised when that happened. But then again, he's young, I think, and he will learn from that. I think it's part and parcel of football. When you make something bad or a mistake, you have to learn from it.
And you have a close relationship, of course, with Zainal Gula, the Geylang international goalkeeper. Were you sorry for him by the end of it? I mean, Albirex were just peppering shots at him.
Usually we will speak after the game, but not this time, but not that after that game. So, you know, I let him cool down for a while, and we spoke the day after, and just to share. And he's feeling a bit down, but I told him it's just another game, and yeah, we are as close as that, and yeah, we're looking forward to play against each other.
Another close friend of Hassan Sunny was in action on Sunday as the Young Lions took on Hougang United, and it was Stipe Plazibat who had the first hat-trick of the season. Here are the goals.
So this will be the Young Lions home for the moment. How will they take this on? A very different type of surface, of course. Nicely done as well by Afiq Noor, and he's got to surely score here. Way too easy for Stipe Plazibat. Fantastic cross in from Afiq Noor. And that is goal number 50 in the Singapore Premier League. Nicely done between Matchell and Anumanthan. Good ball through, and they got problems here. Very nice save. He decided to go for a goal himself, and on the rebound, that's a wonderful finish from Jordan Vestering. Farhan Zulkifli went for goal first on the follow-up after actually very good work from Ridwan. Oh, and that's risky, isn't it? Very risky from Safi. Could have gone first time with the ball, it didn't. Was there a little? That's a foul, surely. That's a foul. Jacob Mahler. Well, earlier on, they're pointing to the fact that there was a foul on Safi. This to make it 3-0. Easy does it for Stipe Plazibat. Good feet, very good feet from Abdul Rasak. Chance here, it's gone in! Ilhan Fundi gets on the score sheet. Young Lions have given themselves a little lifeline here, and they've been pushing, haven't they, in the second half. Slip through, now Stipe Plazibat, he's on for the hat-trick. Plazibat rolls it in, and that puts an end to any hopes of a comeback here.
Okay, Hassan, so we saw Plazibat with the hat-trick there. He played mostly on the right last season. You've played with him before. How deadly is he when he's on top form?
You know, when we played together back in 2017 in Home United, you know, he likes to do finishing exercise every after training session. So I know that he works a lot on that. So I know, and he was a bit frustrated last year. Didn't score many goals, but this year when they shifted him up to the attack, and he's scoring now, so it's positive for him. I'm happy for him, but then again, it will not be a good thing for us when we play them.
Aurelio, you had a chance to look at Hougang United, also title challengers. What did you make of them?
Yeah, I thought they were very strong. They were very clinical in front of goal. Obviously, besides the penalty. Yeah, and sometimes you have those days where everything you touch turns to gold. And they certainly had a strong performance. We played Young Lions 2 weeks ago in a friendly game, and they were very well organised, some really good young kids. I thought they were just a little bit below par on the weekend.
So the final match of the weekend was at our Tampines hub as Tampines Rovers took on a rejuvenated Balestier Khalsa, a match that on paper Tampines Rovers should have won very easily, but it wasn't the case. Here are the highlights.
We're set for the first game of the season for last year's runners-up Tampines Rovers and a side that will be looking to improve on their rock-bottom placing last season, Balestier Khalsa. A cracking atmosphere in a glorious location as the sun sets here on the east coast in Tampines, our Tampines hub, the venue. Out to Shannon. Nakamura, Joel Chu can fashion the cross here. Joel Chu across the face, the beauty! And Boris gets another! Wow, that was a beautifully worked goal for Tampines, so reminiscent of the goals they scored against Hougang a week ago. Nakamura, Joel Chu, and big Boris linking up. Boris Kaponovic.
So that was my game of the weekend. We didn't see the chances, the multiple chances that Balestier Khalsa had, Hassan, but were they lucky, Tampines Rovers, to come away with the 3 points?
It's not easy to play against Balestier, and from so many years back then and until the last game, they always as stubborn as they can be, and it's difficult when if you don't score or capitalize on your own on their mistakes, then they will kill you. So I think Tampines, credit to Tampines, they kept it safe at the back, and they look tired as well, I guess, because of the involvement in AFC.
Yeah.
And give credit to Tampines, and they hold it till the end. And of course, Shazwan played a good game, and yeah, I think hopefully Tampines can perform better after this.
Aurelio, we saw the combination of Jumbo, Hoshino and Zuzul up front, two heavyweights. That's going to pose a problem for many defenders.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they were very, very good. Very strong, very organised. So I thought they had a very good game on the weekend.
And for the both of you, what was the game of the weekend for you?
For me, it's the Tampines Balestier game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the number of chances, and right to the end when Zaiful went up.
Yeah, he had a shot as well.
Yeah, of course. So I think that's my game of the weekend.
And for you?
Yeah, I thought that was the best game of the weekend for sure, and Balestier probably should have taken the 3 points. I thought that was a little bit rough on them not taking something out of the game.
Yeah.
But full credit to Tampines. That's a sign of a very good team when under pressure that you can still get the results.
Still early days in the Singapore Premier League, but let's have a look at the league table, at the embryonic league table, and of course Albirex, Tampines and Hougang United at the top of the table. 3 games played, 3 victories, and Geylang International will hope not to be in that position come the end of the season. Alright, and have a look at the fixtures coming up this week. And it's a big one, Fantastic Friday I'm terming it. The top 2 meeting in Bandar Seri Begawan, Brunei DPMM up against Tampines Rovers. The new boys, Tanjong Pagar United up against Lion City Sailors, both on Friday. On Saturday, it is Balestier Khalsa up against Albirex Niigata. And on Wednesday, Geylang International and the Young Lions will hope to get on the board and recover from their opening day defeats. Alright, that's the end of part 1. Part 2 is coming up, and it's exclusively on the Lion City Sailors. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back to the SPL Show, and part 1 we look back at the past SPL weekend. Now we look exclusively at the Lion City Sailors. Aurelio Vidmar and Hassan Sunny still with me. And for you, Aurelio, now that the cat's out of the bag, everyone can speak about it a little freely. When Lion City Sailors approached you, or Home United at the time, did you know about the plans to privatise the club?
Yeah, when I first came here and spoke to management and also with Forest Lee, there was obviously big discussions about it. Nothing was formalised or come to fruition yet, so there was some talk. But for me at the end, great that it's happened. I think it's fantastic. I think that takes a lot of courage for Forest and Sea to privatise the club. Hopefully it's a sign of something that's very important, and we can see the other clubs also going in the same direction. Hopefully can attract other sponsors, create a better picture for everyone to watch the Singapore football competition. If that didn't happen, I was still very keen in coming here because myself and the club were very much aligned in our thinking of football and where we want the direction of the club to go. So for me at the end it was a no-brainer. Comparisons
of course will be made with JDT across the border. Is the club in a position where if a big name like, I'm just putting it out there, Nicholas Anelka or Marwan Fellaini is available, will the club try and go for these big name signings?
Oh well, I'm not sure about that. That's something that will probably be discussed by management at the higher level. It's always easy thinking that there's a new owner, privatised club, and all of a sudden there's money being thrown out everywhere. I think the beauty of ex-Home United and now Lion City Sailors is that they've always been financially responsible, and I'm sure that will continue.
Hassan, for yourself, I know the players were on a little bit of a media lockdown during the whole process. Was it hard keeping it away from the prying eyes like from myself, who's just looking for little tidbits of the club?
Not so much, but yes, we were told by the staff or management just to keep it low for a while, and our hands were a bit itchy at times where we wanted to post in IG story or something. But then again, now that it's free, players are free to do what they want, and it's all good now.
It's good to have you back in Singapore football, by the way. But what convinced you finally to come back to Singapore and join Lion City Sailors?
Back then, Home United contacted me like halfway through last season, June, July, and to me, I think it's quite early for an SPL club to contact a player, and with regards to the next year's plan. So I saw a lot of interest in there, and how serious Home United wanted me back. And also they spoke to me about this privatization. There will be new sponsors coming in, big budget and stuff. And then they spoke to me about the plans that they have in the future. So I was very much interested, and I had no regrets. So I didn't even have 2 minds of not coming back. So here I am.
You'll be rock solid, I'm sure, at the back once again. Aurelio, you've been in Singapore for a couple of months. What are some of the quirks that you've encountered in Singapore football so far?
Oh, where do you want me to start? Yeah, it's quite interesting actually. Yeah, just getting used to players going to NS. That's probably the first one, and then talking to some of the younger guys. Like Saifullah Akbar, for example, who has completed his NS, and he told me that for 14 months he didn't touch a football, which I think is absolutely crazy. So that's taking a little bit of getting used to. Also with some of the younger players who still have to go to school, so then you have to accommodate for them as well, so making sure that you can organise training around their schedules as well. So there's a lot of those types of things that through my experiences before I've never had to encounter, so it's quite an eye-opener for me.
And how much is the issue of the under-23 ruling going to affect you putting out your best 11?
That doesn't worry me at all. I think we got some really good under-23 local players, and in fact we had the opportunity to sign an under-21 international, but I don't see any point in needing to do that. We need to concentrate more on our local under-23 players, so that's the way we're going to go. And I heard lots of stories last season where a lot of clubs were playing the guys till half-time and then taking them off and playing with the experienced guys. I think that's not the right way to develop players either. So I'm going to give our under-23s every possible chance to play and develop at the same time. And obviously that's also need to perform at a reasonable level as well. But with young kids, you're always going to get a bit of a dip in form. Their curve is sort of up and down until they get a little bit more experience. But as I said, I'm really happy with the local players that we have, and they'll get their opportunity.
Hassan, you've been part of some successful clubs in your time in local football. Geylang United, yes. Tampines Rovers, even with Home United you were successful as well. Where does this particular team compare?
No, I've played against, I played with good individuals when I was in Tampines, Geylang, Warriors. But I feel this year's team, and as a unit, I think one of the strongest team that I've played with. And I think even coach brings our team to another level in terms of discipline, in terms of how we play our football. So it's very positive, and players always looking forward to come to training every day. So I think that's a new thing for us, for our culture here. And it's always positive, or it's always nice to see players behaving as such.
How good is it to link up with Sharil once again?
So happy to see him. You know, he's not as how he used to be. Back then he was a bit laid back, relaxed. But now I think he works hard every day in training, off the field and on the field. So now we are 36 this year. So I hope we can play as long as possible.
Aurelio, Hassan mentions that you're a stickler for discipline. What kind of coach are you, and what are your demands on players?
Well, I feel that I'm quite an open coach. I have a way that I want people to behave. I want a way that we try to play our football. And for me, it's all common sense. I don't have the magic wand to just come in and start waving it around and sprinkling the magic dust, because that doesn't exist. One, we have to work extremely hard. Yes, I know all about some lack of discipline, not just at this club, but in most of the league as well. Everyone has something different happening in their life. There's more to football for a lot of players. But I'm trying to get them to understand that you have one career, and generally that career will probably last, if you're lucky, 12, 13, 14 years. Most don't even reach that long. So I'm ramming it down their throat, not every day, but certainly the pre-season in the first few weeks, about making sure that you do everything possible to try to make something out of your career, because it is such a short time. I don't want them to stay here. I want them to be able to perform at a good level, that they're able to go overseas. I know Hassan has been overseas, and so have a few other players, but the young ones should be aspiring to play at the highest possible level. My job here is, we all want to win the championship, but that's easy said than done. There's a lot of hard work to get to that point, but I want to help the club achieve some success, and also help the younger players get their career in the right direction, and hopefully play for the national team. And that's part of our job as well.
Just keeping on the topic of development, you've had your time in the A-League. Now that you've seen the opening weekend, you've worked with the Lion City Sailor boys for about 2 months now. How does it compare, the standard of football to the A-League?
It's very different, very different. The Youth League and the A-League is, although there's some teams that play some really good football, it's a lot physical. Here I feel that a lot of the younger players aren't physically developed yet in terms of just natural strength, and also a lot of bad habits in terms of their football behaviour. So that's been a bit of a project as well for me, that you go anywhere, and it happens in the A-League as well. You get to the first team, you really shouldn't be talking about body position and your first touch and things like this. At some stages in the A-League that's still happening, but here it probably happens a lot more. I like to think that in time, through the junior development, that as soon as they get to the first team, you don't have to worry about the small details. It's all about tactics and the playing style.
You've got Tanjong Pagar United coming up on Friday, but what would put a smile on your face come the end of the season?
Oh well, a championship would be fantastic. Like I said, it's easier said than done. We need everything to go our way. But right now at this point, I've been super happy with the pre-season. From when I came in first day to where we are today, it is really night and day. So really now looking forward to the first game on Friday night. It's not going to be an easy pathway. There'll probably be a lot of games where it's probably going to be ugly, but we need to manage to get through that ugly part to overcome it and win games.
Hassan, how good is it to see Tanjong Pagar United back? Of course, one of the few teams that started in 1996, 25 years ago.
Tanjong Pagar, Queenstown Stadium, everything is about history back then. So, I used to play there, and when you play in Queenstown Stadium, it's always difficult to play there. So likewise, it's going to be the same this year. Tanjong Pagar back in the SPL, so I'm sure they're going to give a good fight to other teams, and I'm happy that they are back.
Aurelio, we'll finish off with you. You're an experienced coach. You've done your preparation in pre-season. Is there still nerves as you head into the first game of the season, knowing, well, have my preparations worked out and will they perform to my expectations come kickoff?
I think I'm, as a coach, like a player. You turn up to the game or it's getting close to game day, and you got to have a little bit of nervous energy inside of you. The butterflies have got to be buzzing around your stomach. I'm no different. I think the players will be like that as well. So, and I think it's just eagerness to get started, and it's always nice to get off to a positive start. But I think we've had a really super pre-season, although there were a couple of hiccups with not being able to travel to Thailand. We had some organised 3 difficult games there, but because of the virus, we had to change our plans. So we had a slight hiccup there, but got back on track within a week. So super happy about the pre-season now. Really, all the work that we've done in the pre-season, hopefully we can show that on Friday night.
Really looking forward to that one. Fantastic Friday. That is what I've coined it. Tanjong Pagar United up against the Lion City Sailors. We will be there, full coverage, starting from 7:15 p.m. Our pre-show kickoff at 7:45 p.m. And of course in Bandar Seri Begawan, Brunei DPMM, the champions, up against runners-up Tampines Rovers. So much appreciation to Aurelio Vidmar and Hassan Sunny for coming on the SPL show. What will happen over the weekend? Well, anything can happen, and these are the goals as we look back from the past weekend.